Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chronicles of the Range Monkey. I'm your host Natalie, and I'm here with my friend and coach Chris Bean.
Nice.
We are going to be talking a little bit more about how to build a plan and develop a roadmap to reach your goals.
Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video.
Awesome. So the last time we spoke, we talked about like goal setting and what that means, the level of detail we need, and things to make them achievable, relevant, time sensitive, really the level of detail that we're really kind of looking for. So again, I'm going to share my screen. So this is a template I built in Word, just to give you an idea of what it is I'm talking about. So this template, I just put it out here to kind of show you some ideas. Not that it has to be structured like this, because really, like we talked about before, this entire plan needs to be driven by you.
Yeah. Okay.
So how you would, if you chose to use this format, that's great, but you don't have to. I think there's just some parameters that we kind of need to get sorted out. And then we can kind of fill it out however we want to. But the importance of everything is we're just being as detailed as we can be and as honest as we can be, as we kind of build this out. And there's a couple
Okay.
pretty simple questions that we need to answer. So the first thing, going back to what we originally talked about, so with whatever it is that you're struggling with right now in your shooting, what is the goal to correct that?
Right. So I feel like I have been working on speed for a long time. I've been focused on it since our last personal coaching session
Mhm.
back in Georgia when we went to the Mingle. I've been working a lot more about being comfortable shooting at speeds,
Right.
and I feel like I've almost grown a little bit inefficient with my shots. um, my groups are not as tight as I selfishly want them to be.
Okay.
I feel like I need to be able to make that shot when it counts, and if I'm trying to go fast, then
Okay.
so I would like to be more accurate, refine my draw a little bit. I want to refine my draw to the point where I can draw and consistently make my shots.
Okay. Okay. So if to let me paraphrase a little bit. So you feel maybe at times, now that you've gotten more comfortable with speed, that you're falling a little bit too far on that side of like the scale,
Yep.
where you might be kind of outrunning your headlights from time to time, and you're trying to get to a point where the speed matches the accuracy, right? Am I kind of
Right.
understanding? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always having more and more trouble finding my dot, and now I switched to a green dot, which I love, and my eyes do pick it up better, and I
Mhm.
feel so bougie. Um, but it's no help having a green dot if you can't find it, because my draw is a little wobbly. I feel like I haven't worked on my draw since my first videos. So
Okay. So how would we measure success, right? And this is just figurative speak, right? How would we measure success in regards to your draw? Still being reasonably or quite fast, but at a level of accuracy that's surpassing what you can currently do today. Is that
right, yeah.
okay? So we need to kind of approach that with some detail. And like what do we call that and how do we define that as we set this goal? So
Right.
do you have some ideas how you would word that, or how you would approach that?
So I would like to no, I am going to refine my draw to the point where I can draw and consistently hit my target, uh, in 1.25 seconds. I
Okay.
want my target to be like 10 ring or better. That's typically what I aim for, anyways.
Okay.
Put it at like 7 yards.
Okay. Okay. So I think that's reasonable. I think we have pretty much everything there to define.
Okay.
And then, so if you look at the plan, that's really, we have a goal, and we can be a little bit broad with how we're doing the goal because we're building this out as a plan. So I think that's reasonable. I am not sure if I can input this, but I am going to try and work on this
Give
real.
it the old college try.
Yeah. Okay. So if we put, your goal is to,
I,
no,
wa-
it's
I
not,
am going to. Oh, is it not working?
no, it's not going to let me.
Dang.
It's because I'm sharing the screen, so it doesn't want to let me edit. But
Oh,
either way, if we write that down, I think we're solid there. So let's make sure that we have it in such a way that we can repeat it and we know that's right. So
okay.
one more time, in your own words,
One
tell
more
me
time.
exactly what that goal is.
Okay. I am going to refine my draw to where I can consistently hit a 10 ring or better with 1.25 seconds and see my dot. And is that all of the different pieces?
Well, I think we got to do distance. So I'll paraphrase it for you. So I would be like, I would
Okay.
like to refine my draw to a point where I am consistent enough to hit a 10 ring or better at 7 yards in 1.25 seconds. And I would probably put another measurable in there. So say maybe 8 out of 10 times. And that gives us a consistency metric. And that would equate to about 80% success. And at that 1.25, at that level of accuracy with a B8, that's a pretty high level of accuracy. So
Okay.
I think that's a reasonable goal, and I think there's enough detail there that we can hash out the rest of really how we kind of build out the questions before we build out the action plan. Do you
Yeah.
agree?
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm
So
excited.
we have a goal, right? So we know what we want to work towards. So let's go into the next line, which is, why is this important to me? And the reason why I input this question is it goes back to, I mean, I can tell you why it's important, but until you identify with the motivations, it will be very hard for you to hold yourself accountable to the actions. And when you get
Okay.
into things like this, it's super important that the actions in the plan are self-motivated and self-governed. And then really, I'm just acting as your advocate and your guide, you know, as
Yeah.
questions arise and figure out what's going on. But it's driven by you. This is your drive,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So do you have any ideas on like, why does this seem important to you?
Oh, drop my pen. Um, why it's important to me? Well, because you have to be accurate. And like I said, I feel like I've been focusing a little bit too much on the speed side of the seesaw. And if I'm going to have to take that shot, I would like to know exactly where my bullet is going without a doubt because I have put in that myelination.
Sure.
I want to have that confidence in myself at the point where, on the worst day of my life, like they say. Yes.
Yeah. And I think the level of proficiency that you're approaching with this is a very, very, very high level of proficiency.
Oh, thank you.
So you're building a super deep well of skill. So if we, well, I shouldn't say if, when we attain this goal, when you attain this goal, there'll be such a deep reservoir that I don't know that there's going to be any problems that you wouldn't be able to handle. Because really a 1.25 at a 10 ring on a B8 is, that's, you're getting into world class stuff there for real.
Okay.
Certainly doable,
I guess
certainly
I
achievable.
guess I don't know. I shoot next to John Correa all the time. It seems like he can make that shot no problem.
and so can you.
That's true. Yeah.
Um, so we've got that kind of answered. I would like, before we really build out this plan, we're figuratively kind of talking about it, but I really want to like refine that,
Okay.
almost to the point where these questions at any given time, we could revisit this without the plan in front of us, and you could potentially be able to repeat verbatim the motivations, the goal, the things like that, where it becomes really part of your mantra. It's part of
Okay.
the process for you. And that keeps you in it, and it keeps you motivated almost at a subconscious level. It'll keep you working.
Okay. Yeah. So what is the question? Just why is this important to
Yeah.
me?
Why is it
It's
important?
kind of small on my computer.
And then the last one is going to be, what resources am I willing to commit to the process of attaining this goal? That's a tough one, which I don't know. We can talk through that, but I don't know that we're going to have the answers to that one today.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think we might need to talk. Might need to go back
yeah,
and forth a little bit on how we're
if,
gonna schedule
if
this out.
if we just talk about like resources, right? So the first and foremost, we have time. How much time to complete this goal are you willing to input, over what duration? And that needs to be honest, a fair assessment of what you're really, and this goes back to what we previously talked about. What are you going to do, not what you want to do?
Yeah.
So when people normally, and this is why I commit it to writing, and to clarify, because I don't know that I really said that, but this is how I build skill. This is the same process I go through when I'm trying to learn or refine techniques, and push past where I thought I could go. Once I truly commit to it, I verbalize it, I articulate it, and I put it into writing. Then it becomes a tangible thing that I have professed that I will do. And as a relatively committed person, I have a tendency to stick with that better, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's something you need to think about a little bit, time, because this will take time.
Yep.
And I don't mean time, well, 6 months. No, we need more detail than that. So
Yeah.
I think as you see how we go in later into we have the plan, and then we have it broken out in days. So I think it's more about, to meet this goal, I believe we're going to have to create a dry fire regimen.
Yep.
And then how willing, on frequency and duration, are you willing to input to achieve this goal on whatever time frame you deem reasonable?
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely talk through that.
Yeah, so I think there's that. If like you needed another timer, you needed to, uh, change your dry fire space, change the frequency of your live fire benchmarking. Those are all resources that you'll have to commit to this. And really, what is it you will or will not do? Um, and what do you believe that you can absolutely commit to? Understanding that life happens, but we need to turn this into a priority item. And that's why
Yeah.
that all flows back to, why is this important to me?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I would. I am very much looking forward to developing this road plan, because I just feel like I've needed this lately. I am not working at the uh, gun range anymore, so I don't get as much time out on the range. Now I have to wait for active self protection classes. So I'm
Yeah,
really excited to be able to make this a priority, because I know that dry fire is it can get boring when you're not doing anything, when you're
yes,
just,
for
I'm
sure.
gonna pull the trigger at least 5 times every night. Why? Like, it's a
Right,
good starter goal to get yourself into it, but I need a reason to do it. And so
right.
I'm really excited to have some accountability with you, and be able to work through this because, yeah, I would like to
But
actually meet my goals.
you know what? You just answered such a prevalent question when you
Oh,
made this statement, like where somebody's going, well, I'll pull the trigger 5 times tonight, or 25 times, or 100 times. Okay, you're describing a task. You're not describing what you're doing to achieve something. So if somebody just said, all right, well, I'm going to pull the trigger 100 times today. To what end?
Yeah,
Do
why?
the ends justify the means to what you're trying to get to? And that's where I think people get stuck on the hamster wheel, where the you know the return is always the same no matter how much work they put in. So I have shot 80,000 rounds this year and I still hit the same times I did last year before those 80,000 rounds. Okay, why did that happen? One, there was no focus or plan. There was no way to get there, no objectives along the way to say, okay, this investment of tasks that I'm doing, did it actually provide me what I was looking to get out of it? And can now I move forward to continue development on the other pieces of this roadmap? And that's how you become a more well-rounded and higher level kind of individual.
Okay.
That's how you get into like world-class stuff, championship level stuff, because now there's a clear plan on how to get where you want to go versus just going, I will pick up this thing and move it here 8,000 times.
Right. Yeah.
You'll get really good at maybe picking up that thing, but are you actually working on anything?
Yeah. Yeah. Not
So
always. Not always. Yeah. Well, I will definitely think about those last two questions and we can get a shorter, refined mantra that I can keep in my head. Because, yeah, I'm not going to have this plan in front of me while I'm, shooting, while I have my gun in front of me. I need to be able to have this in my head.
yeah, a lot of it you want to like own it, right? But what I
Yep.
will say, especially in my dry fire, and I'm not being exaggerative about this, but I dry fire in front of my journal. So I have it in front of me. So if I have like an insight or something I noticed, or you know, when you start, so what we were talking about, finding the dot, and at these times, as we're trying to push these times, and you're running, say, 40%. Okay, well, what I really need to pay attention to is the 60%. What am I seeing or not seeing? And being able to quickly jot that down, so I'm fully involved in the information that's happening around me. Um, but all that stuff that's detail that we
Yeah,
can work.
that's yeah.
But
Yeah.
once we get into that, I'm excited because again, this is how I kind of do things. So you're getting a different look um, at how I personally have learned to develop skill, um, and it's worked
Yeah.
well for me. And I think you're wired close enough to
Yeah,
how I kind of think about
similar.
stuff that it would work.
Yeah.
So I look forward to it. I think it's going to be fun, and
Yeah.
we will meet that goal.
Yeah, we will meet that goal. I'm going to meet that goal.
Excellent.
All right. Um, well, is there anything else we should look at for this plan?
Well, really, I think where we're at the point now is we've got to get the resource question answered. So I would probably take a couple days and just kind of,
Yeah,
kick that around in your head. And I think the next time we could talk, really will be in a position where you can tell me what you're prepared to do. And then what we will do is we'll take the goal versus what you're prepared to do, and we'll actually build out exercises, and we'll do it on like a 5-day rotation.
there we go.
And
Yeah.
what we can do, like every 5 days, every 7 days, whatever frequency you see fit, we'll go, and you'll see on this other page where I kind of input like a 5-day progress evaluation,
Hmm.
where we can talk about what's working, what isn't working. Does something need to be tossed, or does something need to be added? And then what needs to change to continue any forward momentum. So if you're like, this is feeling stale, I have this investment going on and I just can't seem to engage for 20 minutes. Okay, well, that's good information that we need to address sooner rather than later, to make sure that this is every rep that you're doing of anything that you're doing is providing value.
Right. You want to
Uh,
make sure that each round is beneficial.
yeah, for
Ammo
sure.
is expensive.
Yeah, no doubt. Um, And then the last thing, whenever we do that 5-day evaluation, I want you to think about, and this is important, the affirmation piece of what you're doing. Because if you're never self-rewarding yourself, it's just a beating. It's work for work's sake, right?
Yeah.
So on that same duration, whether you choose 5 days, 7 days, 3 days, 2 weeks, that's really up to you. But we need to recognize the progress that's being made, and write it down. So you can constantly say, okay, I am moving in the right direction, and reaffirm your commitments.
Yeah.
And that's going back to the first 3 questions and just continually reaffirming that. And what this does over the long term, it creates a cycle of self-image, your ability to perform tasks subconsciously, and really be subconsciously competent in what there's no longer cognitive load involved in it. You have developed the skill. You will get to the point where you absolutely know you have this skill, and then it's just a matter of performing it on demand at will.
Okay. Yeah. I'm up to that challenge. That's only like 4 things, Chris. Why do you make it sound so hard?
It's pretty easy, really.
All right. Well, I think we can stop screen sharing for a minute.
There you go.
All right. All right. Well, thanks for showing me that part of the template. I think the schedule is going to make it a lot easier to stay committed to it. Once I have a visual of something, I think it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited to keep working. What are we going to work on next week?
I think that's really when we need to go out and build out the exercises.
Awesome. All right.
So-
Well,
No, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry.
No,
All
you're
right.
good. You're good.
Well, we will see all of you next week to keep building out these exercises and continue developing this roadmap. We'll see you later.